Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tables, Ladders, and Podcasts, the only podcast that keeps forgetting that it broke up with Charlotte and Becky Lynch. This is episode 124. I am your host, as always, Poit, and joining me on the panel to discuss the week in WWE, we have Afterlife.
Today, I saw my father's penis. Now, this was an accident.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
He doesn't even know. And it was fleeting. There was nothing happened. You know, he was in the shower room. He was drying his head. I came around the corner, and there he was. And so, okay. And then I left.
Jabba.
So there was, I just felt like it had to be put out there.
I should point out that I also saw that today. In slightly different circumstances, it was actually tweeted out by Seth Rollins earlier. Inadvertently, I'm led to believe. I was going to say,
Zevon.
Before you move on to Zevon, I was going to say that this is shaping up to be quite a meaty episode, but I feel like I shouldn't say that anymore after that revelation.
And Zevon.
Well, before you move on to Zevon, quite meaty, probably not. Quite meaty would be probably like an exaggeration.
And you're done. And Zevon.
Hey, I haven't seen penis today.
Not even
your own?
Not even your own?
Not even Knox?
Well, that was a Snapchat. Doesn't count. I didn't save it.
Well, I didn't save my dad's penis.
It was just drowning.
You know that shit is burned into your memories for the rest of your life, and you're going to remember that moment.
Well, I will remember it. That's why I'm sharing it. I'm getting it out. So it's not just...
Gentlemen. How about that week in wrestling?
My dad's penis is probably more interesting than this recent week in wrestling.
It probably is. It probably has more of a storyline. By the way, for this episode, the live audience is having a very special treat because in the live chat, Nowhere Man is actually in there right now. Because unfortunately, due to internet connectivity issues, he's unable to participate verbally in the podcast. So he's in there right now commenting away. So if you're in there as well, you could be conversing with a real-life podcaster in there.
That's true.
It's exciting, isn't it? That does mean, though, that his news responsibilities have been handed over to Mr. Poit for today, our social media guru / ambassador. Isn't that right, Mr. Poit?
Absolutely.
Well, lay it on us then. Give us some news.
Well, normally there's an actual seg that starts the news.
Well, if there's anything before the news, it's usually because something happened in wrestling. And this week was a little slow, shall we say.
Well, in other news, today Dave Bautista got married, so, that's cool.
No. Oh, sorry.
Yes, that guy.
Do we know who got married to?
That was not in Wehrman's news notes.
Wehrman,
anyway.
Alright, also, during an out-of-character conference call to promote NXT TakeOver, Triple H confirmed what many were already seeing, that WWE is using the independent promotion Evolve as a feeder program, similar to how Vince used ECW as an unofficial farm league during the Attitude Era. He gave glowing compliments to Evolve's booker Gabe Sapolsky and mentioned that they plan to support the promotion and promote their events.
Do we ever get any glowing compliments? Poit is our social media ambassador / guru. You should be on top of that.
Let's get this straight. So they make NXT to be their own feeder program where they can train people, they can do all that stuff, they can give them their characters, get them on camera, let people know who they are before they go to the main show. And then that show becomes so big that they have to then not make that the feeder show and go get someone else.
Yes.
Which by the way, they did to themselves. They intentionally keep talking about NXT on the main show which made it kind of impossible not to link them together.
Also, the main show sucks.
Yes, it does.
There's
I feel like we don't need to do any more podcasts after that. Sums up our views on most of the goings on in WWE.
Let's see. Also, former TNA wrestler Gunner has announced that he is currently in talks with WWE. In addition to this, a fan attending tonight's TakeOver event took a picture of James Storm at the Full Sail campus talking with Billy Gunn. No word on what he's doing there, but, you know, let's recklessly speculate for a bit.
Shall
Or
we?
Reculate.
they're gonna sign someone and then make them job to everybody.
Let's see
Yeah,
if we
they're-
speculate in the most
Anyway,
reckless
that's
manner.
what's actually gonna happen. Sorry, I apologize.
I'm going to speculate recklessly on the possible relationship, the interaction between James Storm and Billy Gunn. I'm going to say that Billy Gunn is the head of a satanic cult, of which James Storm is a new pledge, and that's
See-
what they were discussing at the event. That's my reckless speculation.
Maybe they're just in the business of, you know, making moonshine together.
I feel like you haven't raised the bar on the level of recklessness there. You've lowered it, if anything.
Maybe they're starting a
Um,
porn company? I don't know.
That's kind of the right territory, definitely. Mr. Afterlife, you can normally be relied upon for a little bit of reckless speculation.
Can I? Who told you that? That's nothing more than. Never mind. I don't know. James Storm and Billy Gunn hanging out really just sounds like
Boring.
a poker. Well, it sounds like a poker game that ends up with two men, like
Fighting drunkenly.
not fighting, just like weeping together about just how nothing is how it ought to be. You know, it just sounds like, hey, let's hang out and have some fun. That quickly, by the way, the drinking is fast, and then it just deteriorates into, you know, do you have a gun? And how many
All right,
bullets?
well, in a recent interview with IGN, Daniel Bryan once again mentioned that his in-ring career is currently in limbo, as he has not been cleared to wrestle by a neurologist who specializes. Sorry, he has been cleared to wrestle by a neurologist who specializes in concussion injuries. However, WWE's in-house physician has not cleared him. In this interview, he said he will be going to a third doctor in the hopes that a tie-breaking opinion may help reach a definitive decision. He once again declared that if WWE will not clear him, he may return to the independent circuit and also express interest in trying out Lucha Libre, or if he isn't cleared to wrestle at all, trying his hand at announcing. Now, this was in Wehrman's notes. Another article that I read a day or two ago said that if the third doctor does not clear Bryan, he will strongly considering retiring altogether.
That would be bad. If Daniel Bryan retired, or if he returned to some obscure show that none of us would see, since Noah Man's not here right now, that wouldn't be great, would it?
He did a post in on the whole Storm and Gunn scenario. He writes, Storm and Gunn are running a black market gun running cartel, and Storm is in the process of smuggling in old Soviet nuclear warheads into the country. That's stepping it up.
And one of them is Rusev.
Machka.
Ruru, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking we should get to the comments that Mr. Noah Man has been leaving in the live interactive chat box, but a lot of them were about Afterlife's father's genitals, so I was skimming over them for
A
a while.
lot of them, you say.
Higher percentage than I would deem acceptable.
And finally, in our news items for the week, United States Champion John Cena will reportedly be taking time off after the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, citing personal reasons which remain undisclosed since they are, you know, personal. Cena has been taken off the schedule for all TV and live events through at least early December and may be gone until the end of the year, returning just in time for the road to WrestleMania. Wrestling Observer Radio is reporting that in Cena's absence, Dean Ambrose will be getting more time in a main event capacity, likely renewing his feud with Seth Rollins.
Bullshit. When Cena's gone and Orton's here, we're gonna get Orton wasting our time for 30 minutes an episode.
Oh, also,
If
she's
you
going to come in there for some reason, just to do it.
And they've been shoveling Kane and Big Show into the limelight a lot recently.
so,
You just love a good shovel full of Big Show.
That's pretty damn big shovel you need.
Right in Vince McMahon's personal toilet.
Well, if it means more Dean Ambrose and no Cena for a few months, then fine. But when Cena says he's taking time off, or when Cena's injured for an indefinite period of time, what that tends to mean is he'll miss a week.
yeah.
Oh, he broke his neck. He'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yep.
After walking out of surgery under his own power.
I have learned, because this company has taught me for several years, not to assume they will do anything good with any opportunity they have. So, until I see them actually pushing someone for real, I'm just going to assume that their incompetence is still functioning at maximum level, and we're going to get that super phenomenal technical wrestler Randy Orton to dazzle us for the time that Cena's not dazzling us with.
You know what they might do? What they could do, because they don't want the ratings to actually go up in Cena's absence. So they could open every episode with a 25-minute Tamina promo.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, is that where she just stands in the background and goes like this?
Yes!
She
Yes,
sometimes
it's
has her arms folded. I don't think you're giving her enough credit there.
That is at least better than a Cameron promo. Is Cameron still employed?
I don't know. Is she in kind of the JTG zone?
Wait, okay.
So she's going to be sitting around getting paychecks for like
was
2
the other
years before getting released?
whatever, or who, what? Didn't she go down and become like a ring announcer on NXT or something?
Cameron? No, that was JoJo.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Spoken like a true follower of NXT.
Owen Brown just commented on John Cena's Amazing Powers of Recovery. He says, John Cena's dead. He will return next Monday on Raw to win WWE title. If anyone could do it, it would be him. I get the feeling if you cut off Cena's head, I think he would still, kind of run around in circles, just randomly winning titles and kicking out for at least an hour or two.
Isn't it going to be great when
John-
we get to Royal Rumble and
John Cena's the
Daniel
Lord.
Bryan comes out at like number 20, and he's just throwing people out until number 30 is John Cena, and John Cena throws him out.
John Cena's actually going to teabag him under his own power before throwing him out.
Mm-hmm. And then Cena's going to come out on Raw and say, I beat 29 other men. I showed up and did nothing to one guy.
I want my shot at the US
Yeah. So who's gonna take the U.S. title then?
Well, does
And here's
Cena
the
have-
question.
right now?
The closest thing he's got to a feud is fucking New Day. I mean,
I'd be
so
fine with that.
but are they gonna take it, or is John Cena so John Cena that he has to win the match and then get injured at Hell in a Cell afterward, like they did on Raw, and so he has to vacate the title because he just can't be beaten.
That's entirely plausible. It'll be sad though if nobody actually benefits from this whole Cena incredibly lengthy US title run with that small break.
It
John
would also be tremendously like them to make sure that nobody benefits from something that a top guy is doing.
So,
Yes.
according to
Interestingly, if John Cena loses the U.S. title or vacates it, and then comes back and wins it once more, he will tie Ric Flair's record for most U.S. Championship reigns.
Fantastic.
Are there any other TV hosts that could come in and stop him doing that?
I don't know.
A lot, really. Hell, Drew Carey's a Hall of Famer. Have him come back.
With the ring.
And what, pay him $10?
He'll just say, I just had to stop John Cena tying Flair's record, and then Ric Flair just comes out and says, what have I told you guys? It's just a running theme. These guys, they don't watch the show, they just hear that Cena's about to tie Ric Flair, so they come in and screw him over.
Not happening on our watch. There's going to be like a fucking stable of talk show hosts that just come and defeat John Cena anytime.
They get pull like a Nexus and just come in and destroy the arena whenever Cena's challenging for the title.
Although, it's been, people were really shaken up about that Nexus thing that one night, but it certainly feels like WWE got their revenge for that. Nexus comes in and destroys WWE, and slowly but surely, WWE's made sure to destroy each and every one of the Nexus members.
One by one.
The most successful Nexus member right now is Ryback, right?
Yes, but that wasn't because of booking. That was because of that book that you read.
I would still say it's Daniel Bryan. He main evented a WrestleMania. Even if he never wrestles again, he's still done more than he.
Yeah, but 50% of doctors say he is concussed beyond repair.
Yeah, he's also got technically 3 world title reigns under his belt. None of which he lost.
Oh, yeah, but that's not something I consider success if they're like, well, if we don't do this, if we don't fuck you out of this too, so I guess we'll give it to you. But we're also going to take it away for no reason. Several times.
Ric Flair's title record.
All right, so can we move on to our talking points for the week?
Do we not have any more news?
That was it for the news.
Well, that wasn't.
Did we ever mention that Snuka actually got arrested?
I don't know whether we mentioned that he got arrested. We were talking about the fact that the investigation was reopened and that they were.
He got arrested back in September.
I think we covered that.
Did we mention that he actually got arrested?
I think so. I don't know. Owen Brown, did we cover this?
Yeah, Owen, you're the guy who actually knows what we talk about.
Before we get to the talking points, shall we just have a look at the live interactive audience participation box?
Sure.
And the comments that we've got in there. Now, there's somebody, I'm not sure whether this is someone that we may know by another username somewhere else, but Robo71C, which...
Robotic.
Yes, it looks a lot like robotic. Says that...
the Narcs.
Well, he says that John Cena is like a bad meme. No one wants him there, but he was once good, so he keeps coming back. I must have missed that time that he was good. Any of you guys remember that?
Well, I mean...
I enjoy the whole U.S. Open Challenge thing.
The whole thing, really?
Was a heel rapper and did little knock-knock jokes and shit. That was kind of funny.
Well, if you think he made a good point there, he did also suggest that Kevin Bacon reveals himself as Fandango and attacks John Cena.
Jabba, it's Fandango.
I don't think he cares anymore.
Well, I don't think they care about him.
Just breathe the A's.
So, let's move on to the talking points, shall we? So, first of all,
Yes.
There was a very special event that WWE really hyped up. The special... What did they call it? The Road to Hell? Brock Lesnar's... The Beastly Road to Hell or something.
The Go to Hell tour.
Lesnar Road to Hell tour that started with the Madison Square Garden special.
Yes, so that Madison Square Garden show, you would expect that to be something special, wouldn't you? It's the first stop on the road to hell. But really, was it anything more than a glorified house show?
I don't know. I mean, I do think the special was at the very least paved with good intentions.
Was it really, though? Or was it paved with misleading intentions?
Well, I mean, come on. We had Jericho.
Yes, but you know Jericho doesn't like to appear on anything that's actually broadcast, so maybe they just told him it was a house show.
They just lied to him. This is a house show. Show up.
What are all the cameras doing here? Is what he might say to that.
We had a good match with the New Day and the Dudleys.
That we haven't had before? That we haven't
Details.
seen?
Also on the road.
You know, we had, what, fucking Stardust and Neville again?
Man, they're really they're Wade Barretting the shit out of Neville right now.
We had that wonderful 5-minute Brock Lesnar and Big Show match that was way worse than their previous match, and then we got a condensed version of it on Raw for all the millions of people that didn't watch it.
I actually was intrigued by the first part of that match, where Big Show was actually truly dominating in a match, because I hadn't seen that in fucking forever, and then they were like, you know what, fuck it. And then it just ended.
Lesnar goes beast mode and wins.
It wasn't even fucking beast mode. It wasn't even like...
It was kind of like, I'm going to try now.
It wasn't even fucking impressive, the ending. It was just, yeah, all right. I want to go to catering, so we're done. It was just fucking over.
Well, I get the feeling it was supposed to be even shorter than that, but the first time we got him up for the F5, it looks like Big Show's weight was kind of balanced the wrong way. So he had to kind of fireman's carry him down to the mat instead of just breaking his neck.
Which, that's considerate of him.
It is. He did get another German suplex out of him for that anyway. But on Raw, actually, it was a belly-to-belly suplex, wasn't it? So it was completely different.
Yeah, so, and what the fuck was the point of him coming out on Raw if he's in such bad shape that a single suplex and a single F5 that wasn't really all that great either fucking knocked him out?
For the rest of the night.
For the rest of the fucking night!
So that Kane, with a shattered ankle, would make a more fitting tag team partner for Seth Rollins.
Like, what the fuck, guys?
Well, maybe Big Show was seriously concussed by those moves.
Then why did he?
No, only
No,
on
he wasn't.
concussions every time he wrestles. Only.
I mean, you have to keep in mind that Kane is powered by Hell, and this is the Road to Hell tour, so he has, like, a power multiplier right now.
Well, then why the fuck isn't it Lesnar versus Kane?
That sounds interesting, actually.
We
Sounds
also
more interesting because I'm not sure we've actually seen that recently.
Have we ever seen that?
Probably.
Probably. Let's just go with yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go do some research.
You do that, Mr. Poit. That's your job on the show, outside of being the social media ambassador / guru
And reading the news, yeah.
and the various other tasks that we give you. So, Owen Brown actually said that instead of Suplex City, Brock took Big Show to a suburb of Suplex City.
why? 'Cause they didn't have
Maybe
house.
Belly to Belly Boulevard is where he took him. Start chanting that, guys, come on. I could see that catching on.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
So,
The only match where both Brock Lesnar and Kane both appeared in was the 2003 Royal Rumble, which Lesnar did win.
did he eliminate Kane?
Let me check.
So instead of giving us something fresh and original, they give us Lesnar versus Big Show Part 17, of which Big Show only won one, and that was when Paul Heyman defected.
That would be absolutely hilarious if they started a feud now with the two of them, and then just reference the 2003 Royal Rumble like it was a month ago. I remember over the top rope, but I never forget.
Considering they neglect to tell us about the fact that Brock and Undertaker have actually fought in Hell in a Cell before, you would think Paul Heyman might remember that. But he mentions every match they've had but that one.
And see, no, Kane was eliminated by Undertaker, who was eliminated by Taker. Oh, sorry, eliminated by Lesnar.
Okay, so Undertaker kind of absorbed Kane's power by eliminating him, and then Lesnar eliminated Undertaker, so he kind of absorbed all their power.
But yes, so we've never had. So other than a single Rumble match, we've never had any match between Lesnar and Kane.
Why has Kane developed his custom weapon that's a red and white stick that he calls the King from Hell? That was a post.
I didn't hear that.
I don't know.
It'd be like the power of the punch. Well, now that he's got a shattered ankle, you can just use it like a king and just beat the crap out of people with a king.
Oh, gosh, I'm looking at these match records. Brock Lesnar and Rey Mysterio defeat A-Train and The Big Show. Jeez.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Well, moving on to our next talking point. So, we talked about Team PCB and the fact that Paige is kind of turning on them roughly once a week at the moment. It seems that she's obviously on a mobile device trying to unfriend them on Facebook. And you know how if you do something on Facebook on a mobile and occasionally it tells you that you've actually done it, and then you log on later and, wait a minute, I'm sure I liked that post, but it's not actually registered. Maybe it's like that. She's tried to unfriend them multiple times through a mobile device, and it's been unsuccessful each time, because they still seem to be kind of chummy, shall we say, occasionally, while also kind of turning on each other every week.
Didn't someone else do this like a year ago, where they kept turning on someone and then turning back? Was it right?
The one that we remembered was Miz and Kofi just turned on each other once a week for about 3 months.
Okay. I knew there was one where they just kept forgetting that their storyline had started, and they kept trying to turn the engine over.
It happens a lot with tag teams, when one of them kind of splits off on his own and they think, well, maybe the crowd didn't get it, so we'll have to do the same thing again this week. And have the commentator say, well, there was miscommunication last week, but it looks like they're on the same page again. Oh, no, wait, they're not.
They never are.
I think we just lost Zevon Dudley.
Oh, no.
Zevon
That is
Dudley.
his permanent name. That was the best name he ever had, I think. So, he's back. Do we not have anything else to say on this issue then?
On the constant turning, it's just irritating. Other than that, no.
Owen Brown says, has she had more heel face turns than Alicia Fox and Big Show combined yet?
No.
I don't
That's
think anyone
ridiculous.
could ever
You know what?
achieve that.
Speaking of, I'm glad he asked that, because Alicia Fox, is she contributing to anything?
Just being a third body, kind of standing.
Yes.
He's like,
I
tell
know
you.
that.
but
I'll tell you
not.
what she is. You have a picture of her and the Bellas standing there, and underneath it says, like, day 36. They still don't realise I'm not a Bella.
Because, like, the Bellas are like, we're the Bellas, and we're mean and stuff, and whatever. But Alicia Fox doesn't even really say, yeah. She just, like, keeps her mouth shut as if to not be noticed that she's
So
hanging out
she-
with them.
So she's the Bella's Tamina?
Kinda. I mean,
Less-
at least Naomi is using Tamina the way everyone has used Tamina. Be the big scary girl who no one wants to work with because you'll actually hurt them. You know, at least that team, they're all three components, right? But when you got the Bellas and, fuck it, throw Alicia Fox in there, and she'll never do anything, so it's okay. It's just fucking, it grows more baffling to me every fucking day. Or every week, I guess.
Well, it could be every day if you're just kind of rewatching Divas segments for some reason.
I'm not. I guarantee you.
That surprises me.
Speaking of Divas segments,
Oh dear.
how about Monday Night Raw?
Yeah, I suppose we could talk about that. Was that possibly the most cringeworthy Divas segment we've had since the Revolution began?
Well, considering it ended up being a Boston Red Sox versus Yankees game, yes.
Also,
Why
the way I worded my description of the Divas Revolution at the moment is the Revolution isn't just dead, it's come back as a zombie and it's trying to eat our brains. That's exactly how I feel about it.
When you are doing a promo and there's a sports where there's a coach or players or commentators, whatever, in the crowd right there, and you catch them in your eye, and you're like, oh, he's gonna lose. She's like your shit fuck, local sports team. It's one thing because you're working with something right there, something tangible that people can connect to. When you just walk out and say, hey, city I just walked into, your local sports team, react. That's not a fucking promo. Why did you bring it up? It had nothing to do with anything.
Oh, the Red Sox, right?
Yeah, exactly. They just kept doing it.
Big fan or I hate them, right?
Oh,
Right here in Boston, Massachusetts.
But see, that was done because he knew it was stupid. And that's what made it great.
Yeah. It was just so bad.
It was so team bad.
And can we address as well, before all the mess of that thing started, Michael Cole tells everyone the action started earlier today outside the arena. He specified action. Then they show us a video clip of the Bellas giving us some of the worst whiny improv ever to be displayed on live television. And when they walk up to Naomi tosses Nikki's hat into the air, and then nothing happens.
That's action.
Nothing happens, and then when they cut back to the arena, Cole says, I swear to God, so that makes what's about to happen pretty interesting, guys.
Well, if someone laid hands on my hat, that would make my future actions much more interesting.
No, it would not. It just fucking wouldn't.
That's how hard it is to find an orange fucking hat.
It is pretty difficult, actually. So I think I would be the exception, to be fair.
It's just how did you look, if that's what you filmed, you had time to say either, hey ladies, maybe do that again and do something that matters, or just the producer looks at it and says, you know what, that was fucking bullshit, why did we film it, we're not gonna bother with that, we're gonna just forget we did this useless fucking 45 seconds of footage, and instead of pretending that fucking meant something, we'll just continue with the feud because the feud's been going on for 6 fucking months.
Mm-hmm.
So have we just accepted that the Divas Revolution is dead?
I think it's thoroughly getting just tossed in the grave. Maybe have a few other dead bodies in there and just kind of hanging out.
I mean, the story that they seemed to be running with was that the Divas were coming in to dethrone the Bellas, which they kind of did after it was too late, but what happens now? It seems like we've kind of gone back to pre-Divas Revolution.
It feels like that they tried to draw and quarter the Divas Revolution, but the horses didn't start running fast enough, and so it more just stretched it out in a very painful way.
All right. I think medieval torture methods are probably a good place to
So
bring
before
the
we
Divas
start
Revolution.
stretching this talking point out in a painful way, let's move on to the next one, shall we?
Sure.
So, we've kind of touched on this a little bit already, but Lesnar, possibly the biggest attraction they have right now. Can we agree on that? And the guys that they're putting him in the ring with, interacting somehow with Lesnar is going to be something that you can then reference for years to come. If someone has an amazing match with him, that's going to go down in history. So why are all his interactions limited to people that are months away from retirement?
Because if you're not months away from retirement, you are a jobber.
That seems like a really poor business practice.
It is. But let's be honest. Who do they have that will be... Who do they have that will actually go over Lesnar who is not John Cena or Orton or Taker?
We haven't seen Lesnar Orton for a really long time. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I wouldn't mind any scenario where Orton's collarbone might break again. I would be totally fine with that.
Lesnar and Orton have not wrestled since 2002.
Yeah, when Lesnar completely squashed him, if I recall. Yeah, so there's so many guys that he's just never wrestled before, but they keep giving him the same people over and over and over. Old people.
Well, again, I mean, what you look, if they put Cesaro in there with him, there's no fun in it because it'll be a great match, an excellent match, and Cesaro will lose, which means nobody benefits. Anybody who's not a #1 guy that they put up against Lesnar, they will not allow to go over him.
I think just being in the ring with Lesnar and putting on a great match would be enough to do it for Cesaro. You could be playing clips of that for years.
But it doesn't. Everything that Cesaro does has been, every time he's in there with Cena, every time he's in there with anybody of, hell, even him and Kevin Owens, they've had some great, excellent matches in WWE, and so what? Where's his title shot? Where's his actual credibility in terms of being a top contender? Oh, that's right, it doesn't exist because they won't let him.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay, so a couple months, just random aside, a couple months before Brock Lesnar's official debut, he was wrestling dark matches and such. I just want to read this match result to you. Steven Richards and Tommy Dreamer defeat via pinfall Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton.
I would be down for that.
Oh, 2002.
What a crazy time you were.
Anyways.
Anyway, moving on. Now, I found this quite sad on Raw. Kalisto. When Sin Cara was in his match with Kevin Owens, he was trying his best to get a chant going on the outside of the ring, doing the whole lucha, lucha thing, and nobody in the crowd joined in. Not one person. They tried to get it going multiple times. Not one single audience member participated in a particular chant.
But it is also, again, it's also very difficult to... First of all, it's difficult to get into a squash match anyway. Also, this particular squash match was...
Very squashy.
Well, not just that. It was the fact that, hey, this guy who beat John Cena and then was punished for beating John Cena has been reduced to squash matching a tag team guy. Great.
A tag team guy that the audience don't care about, by the sounds of it. Do you think that it's sad that they've kind of been shuffled all the way to the back of the pack of tag teams because they were getting pretty over at one point.
That's the problem with their tag team division. They'll bring in a new team that'll be hot, like they did it with freaking when they started pushing the primetime players. They did it now with the Lucha Dragons. They started introducing all these teams, and instead of pushing them and having proper competition where multiple teams were getting put over and winning, they would put over one team for 2 months and then lose the other ones in the shuffle, so they have this happening every other week.
So
Until they
tag
need
teams
to
are
have a
divas?
fatal four-way.
Yes, basically, the tag team division is just as good as the Divas, if not better than the Intercontinental division, though.
There's got to be a certain level of frustration. I was asked by a friend of mine how I felt about the Dudley Boys situation, and I am totally cool with the Dudleys showing up after 10 years because they've been active. They're in shape. You know, I'm totally cool with them coming back and having another run. But how about maybe the guys who weren't around for 10 years don't get an immediate title feud? Maybe they actually go through and give a Dudley rub to all of the other minor tag teams.
A Dudley rub.
Sure
That
that
sounds-
everyone
What's the Dudley rub?
The Dudley rub is you have a fucking world-famous tag team, and a whole you have the fucking Los Matadors. It could probably benefit from a couple of months working with the Dudleys. You know, the fucking Lucha Dragons could benefit from working with the Dudleys just for name value.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, both of those tag teams could also benefit from being given personalities, but that's not what we're talking about. The Dudleys just coming in after a 10-year vacation and just assuming a title feud is really bullshitty. And it's kind of a spotlight on that whole problem of, oh, we have a tag team? All right, we'll just use them and forget about the rest of them for the next 6 months.
It's sad. By the way, I did just look up Dudley rub on Urban Dictionary, and apparently there's nothing there yet.
Good.
All right, listeners or viewers, whatever you're called now, it's your job to fix this.
Yes, give us a definition for Dudley rub. Looking at you, Owen Brown. You're the creative sort. So, our next talking point. Now, I'm not sure how much we want to talk about this, or how comfortable various members of the podcast may be in discussing this, but spending a very large portion of Raw congratulating survivors of a particular kind of cancer, is it a bit much?
It's certainly ironic.
Explain.
Do you think that maybe they could spread the cancer love around a little bit among other cancers instead of just focusing on one?
Well,
I
it's
mean,
Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Okay, time out. First of all, it's not showing support for breast cancer. Okay? I think we need to make sure that we're clear on that. It's support for killing breast cancer. There is a massive difference.
yes.
But they do this all the time. They've got special ropes now for like every month. They have a different cancer or
Something
something
aware.
that they're highlighting. So it's not just this cancer. I'm sure of it.
Did they have they had something for children's cancer or something like that?
Oh, I'm sure they have. Especially after that what 6-year-old kid that everybody is supposed to be in love with who died like a year or so ago. The one they put in the Hall of Fame.
Which kinds of cancer don't have their own awareness month?
I don't fucking know.
Testicular. I don't know.
Look, yesterday was fucking National Noodle Day. Okay, everything has a fucking day or a week or a month in America.
If they made the middle rope kind of really floppy a National Noodle Day. I could get behind that.
No, you couldn't. Why would you? You would never be behind National fucking Noodle Day. You shouldn't be. It's not a fucking cause.
I don't know.
My
I think
point is
I think they could be celebrating the survivors of multiple kinds of cancer over the year, and I don't recall seeing them do that. It seems to be, it's that pink middle rope month again.
Well, they've been doing that for a long time. They've been partnered up with the
Susan G.
Susan Komen for a long time.
A for-profit cancer research facility, not non-profit, which just bugs the shit out of me.
Well, you got to make your money, man. If I'm taking time out of my day to help you...
Non-profit organization. Why does that have to be a profit organization? They're basically making money based on the fact of people having cancer.
Isn't that what the entire American healthcare system is based on?
Exactly. It's why it's retarded.
Let's not use retarded as a pejorative, Zevon.
Hey,
let's
any
not do
idea
that.
can be retarded. If it holds back progress, that's what retarded is. She's not saying that people
That
are...
would be retarding.
Yes!
Yes.
When you retard a thinking process, that process is now retarded. That's what
And
it
let's
means.
assume that's what he meant by it as well.
Anyway, now thanks, Point. I have no idea what the fuck I was trying to say now.
Good. When Afterlife loses his train of thought, we all win.
Now, I was looking at my talking points and hoping I could say, speaking of cancer, but I'm not sure I really can.
Ever want to say that?
So, the next talking point. The Wyatts. This blood feud they've got going on with Roman Reigns and his ragtag band of buddies. They've been getting the upper hand quite a bit, but they just lost on Raw.
Tremendously, by the way.
Does that sap the heat out of this now? Because the Wyatts were looking like the unstoppable force with their new recruit, and now they're not quite so unstoppable.
Well, no, I mean, I assume this was to sort of like I don't know, maybe they'll continue with this as Orton as like he'll be the actual third member of Shield 2.0. Don't give me that look, Afterlife. Shuffling Orton away into the third man of a stable is probably the happiest thing that they could possibly do to him for you.
Or Orton could get mugged on the way home, and in the altercation, broken collarbone, and he's gone for another 2 years.
Or instead of wishing harm on him, how about Randy Orton just loses his passion for the business and he decides to go into real estate?
Passion for the business. That's an amusing thing to describe.
Well, however
Randy
much
Orton
passion
with.
you think he has for the business, he loses that.
Here's the thing, though. I'm pretty sure Randy Orton has a passion for being given money without really working for it. So sitting in a job where he actually has to do stuff might not work out for him so much.
Well, does anyone want me to find out? Has he ever appeared on that? What's that? It's not quite a cartoon, but Slam City, is it?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think that's one way to find out.
Because
Yeah,
I did actually see an episode of that where The Rock and Mark Henry were fighting over a pizza with a penguin.
To be fair, Mark Henry.
I'm sorry. Were they using the penguin as some sort of weapon?
No, the penguin took the last pizza that they were fighting over, and then they were forced
it was
to
The
team up.
Rock and Mark Henry together versus a penguin.
Yes.
No, it's not. Was it? It sounds like it was Rock and Mark Henry arguing in a pizzeria, and a penguin just snuck up and stole their shit.
That's basically what happened, and then the penguin cashed in its pizza in the bank contract, I imagine, so it became a triple threat, but they kind of double teamed the penguin, and then I missed the end of the episode.
Beating up penguins?
According to Wikipedia, Randy Orton is a zookeeper in Slam City.
Well, that killed it.
Yeah, that's
So he could become a zookeeper.
No, he could not!
Until they bring back the hardcore title and they have a brawl through the zoo. Which was something I was always waiting for, but they never actually did that. You could have had like a monkey winning the hardcore title for a few minutes. That would have been amazing.
I'm pretty sure Crash Holly counts.
Yeah, maybe. So, shall we move on to our next talking point then?
I guess.
Sure.
If we don't have anything more to say about the Wyatts. So, Stephanie McMahon. Did anyone else strongly dislike the way she put the New Day in their place, as it were?
Yes. In
thought it was
fact, when she walked away and the New Day were like, I thought she liked us. I thought she liked us. And I was like, me too. Why is she being a bitch to them?
But she was busy.
She was more just being a bitch than being a bitch to them. I think if you would put anyone up there at the way she was acting, like the anger that she had over whatever was going on, she would have reacted that same way unless it was like Triple H.
Okay, here's again the when you step back for just a fucking second, she's standing in the middle of fucking nowhere backstage on her phone, not talking, but typing on her phone. And they're like, hey, Stephanie, have fun with us. And she's like, I'm busy. Well, you know what? You're just kind of standing around. You're not in your office like they busted in while you're working in a place just designated for you to work. You're just standing somewhere. So if you're like, oh, no, not now, guys, I got the thing. And then you walk away, that's the end of it. But you just stood there with guys who do this thing that they always fucking do. You are an idiot.
Did I leave the room during some terrible thing, some terrible fate that befell Stephanie that put her in this mood? Because it seemed like nothing happened on the show that warranted her being angry and snapping at the New Day.
Nope. Nothing.
Well then.
Or after the big old angered Tom Brady and the Patriots winning the Super Bowl speech that she had at the start of the show.
And what the fuck was that, by the way? I forgot about that part. Why is she sucking up to the Patriots?
They're in Boston. She's from Massachusetts.
She's also a fucking bitch who doesn't give a shit about sports.
They were at the Super Bowl when they won it last year on the sidelines. Like it was reported.
We're at the fucking Super Bowl?
Yeah.
That's
I'm sure if I had a huge amount of money, I may randomly appear on the sidelines of the Super Bowl. That doesn't mean I actually care about it, though.
But
that's true. They are very someone give us pop culture limelight kind of people.
Maybe they want some of the sporting people involved in that to appear on their show.
Yep, like Aaron Hernandez.
That's not a maybe. They want anyone who is famous to be on their show all the time.
To defeat Dolph Ziggler in a match, no doubt. Okay,
Anyway.
moving on to the next one. Now, this is a great talking point for you. Will Ruru marry Sweet Obedient Summer? Or is it all going to end in heartbreak and disaster like all the other weddings in wrestling history?
By the way, didn't he in real life just get engaged to Lana?
Let's not talk about that.
Just saying. Kinda. Yeah. Hey, you did this yesterday. Let's do it on screen now.
So there's a few ways this could go. They could actually they could have the wedding all set up in the ring, and then Lana could come out and confess that her love for Ruru never died. And then
the priest rips off his mask and it's actually Lana.
Could be, or it's actually Dolph Ziggler and super kicks Rusev in the face for no reason. Like he's been doing a lot over the last few months. What do we think, though? Do we think the wedding's going to go ahead?
Does it fucking matter?
Yes.
So Rusev's answer to the proposal, which was something along the lines of that, like, he and Lana have to prove to each other that they're worthy of each other. I'm like, okay. And then he said, and to do that, I will win championship gold. And that was like the only requirement for the two of them. And I was like, wait, what?
Well, you could read into that she's supposed to help him cheat to win championship gold, thus proving herself to him.
Which,
I guess?
Yeah.
which, the whole thing is like, hey, I'll totally commit to you emotionally and financially and however spiritually, as long as you help me get this material thing.
Yes.
And I'm like, fucking, this is so stupid.
It's an improvement on where the storyline was, though, because no one had their face shoved into a dead fish this week. That's my
So
minimum
that's an
requirement.
improvement.
It's on the right track now, at least. And as far as I'm aware, I haven't read the SmackDown spoilers, but I'm pretty sure I would have heard by now if there was any kind of dead fish tomfoolery on that show. So we've made it this far without that. So it's on the right track, definitely. Owen Brown says, why is this storyline still happening? But he has not included a question mark, so I'm going to take that as a statement. He also says that Eric Bischoff should officiate the wedding. They are on good terms with Eric Bischoff again now, aren't they?
He did that interview with JBL for the network, which is really good if you want to watch it.
But if you don't want to watch it, it's
Then
fucking
don't.
garbage.
Yeah. So,
All right, then.
next talking point. John Cena crushing the tag team champions one by one.
I mean, I think it is totally acceptable for John Cena, or really any main eventer, to defeat a single tag team champion.
Even when the others are at ringside.
Well, I think every time he's beaten one, it was after the others had been ejected from ringside.
See, I don't have a problem with him beating Woods, but I think Big E is the one in there that they should be protecting from pinfall loss, as it were.
Really, the guy who traded how many wins and losses with Alberto Del Rio?
Well, that was a few months ago. We're expected to forget about that. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't have a problem with Cena defeating Kofi Kingston in a match. But I think the Big E should be the one that they treat as the threat of the group.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. But
And when he beat Big E, it was off of a distraction, I believe.
I don't know.
We'll see what happens at Hell in a Cell, but I think it's fucking ridiculous how it's gone so far, and I think it's pretty obvious what's going to happen, and it will not actually benefit New Day in any way.
The one
New
thing
Day
we
will
did,
benefit from title defenses against other people, but not by getting it from John Cena.
we did learn from this feud, though, that Cena is in fact booty.
He is. He is
Shut up,
quite
Alvin.
booty.
Shut up.
So, moving on. Shall we talk about something NXT related, Mr. Point?
Certainly.
Our NXT correspondent over there.
Yes. Now, as usual, I am going to give us an update on the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Tournament.
Oh, by the way, I found out the name of the guy that you said was announcing all the matches with no
Emotion.
like, or emotion or anything. Sounded like Microsoft Sam. His name is Edwards.
His name's what?
Kyle Edwards.
Isn't that like a race car driver or something?
I think so, but that's his name. And
Okay.
He sounds basically like a race car driver.
All right. Well, the opening match of NXT this week was the last quarterfinal match for the tournament, and we saw Finn Balor and Samoa Joe defeat Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. Now, in this match, Balor and Joe worked quite well together, not even a hint of animosity between the two. So Is Joe gonna be turning at some point?
Not even a hint of miscommunication.
No, they worked quite well in tandem.
I don't know, are they just lulling us in here to thinking, well, he can't possibly turn now, they make such a good team. Look at them out there not miscommunicating at all. And then, phew, they're going to hit us with it.
And pow, right in the kisser.
That's where I think it's probably going to go. Because they can't have the world champion being a tag team champion, surely. And when they lose, because one of them's the champion and one of them is a huge contender, they're not going to be losing cleanly, I think. It's going to be because of a miscommunication. And
Yeah.
nothing leads to heel turns faster than a good old-fashioned miscommunication.
Ain't that the truth?
Now, what do you guys think of Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy once again not appearing in a match on TakeOver?
Stupid.
Why? If TakeOver is supposed to be these big events to promote NXT more than anything else, if that's the one NXT event they watch, that's the one. So why wouldn't you have your most over guys on the roster on that show?
To be fair, that's something we've been asking about WWE programming for about 2 years.
And it's not even like they're over in a Zack Ryder kind of way. They're over in a Daniel Bryan sort of way with the NXT universe.
But regardless, with this match concluded, we now have the bracket set for the semifinals and therefore finals for tonight's NXT Takeover special. We will see Finn Balor and Samoa Joe versus the Mechanics in one match, and in the other semifinal match, Jason Jordan and Chad Gable versus Baron Corbin and Rhino. And the winners of each of those matches will face each other in the finals.
On my end there was a little audio distortion as you were saying a couple of those names, so it sounded like you said Samoa Jew. Which,
Mitch, by the way,
if they'd
excellent
repackaged
heel
him,
turn.
if they'd repackaged him that way when they brought him into NXT, that would have been interesting.
Well then.
On that note, so who do we think is going to win this tournament then?
I'm thinking Jason Jordan and Chad Gable.
Yeah,
They will defeat Finn Balor and Samoa Joe in the finals.
I could see that. And are we ready, willing, and Gable for that combination to come out on top?
Yes, yes.
So have we got more NXT discussion points?
So actually, I'm going to also give a brief run-in of the rest of the card for TakeOver, as it is starting in just over 40 minutes. We're going to have Apollo Crews versus Tyler Breeze. That should be a fun match to look forward to, though I am not looking forward to seeing Tyler Breeze lose another TakeOver match.
Yeah, that's going to be sad.
We also have Asuka versus Dana Brooke. Now, the segment on NXT this week when like Dana Brooke and Emma were in Regal's office, like completely being dismissive of Asuka until Regal showed them a video of her, and then they just went like, "Oh shit!" Like that was pretty much the best thing they could have done to like hype up Asuka rather than actually show us the video itself, because the video itself was not all that awesome.
Other people reacting to things often has a lot more weight than
Yes.
just your own reaction.
But of course, our main event of the evening will be Bayley defending the Women's Championship versus Sasha Banks in a 30-minute Iron Man match.
I'm still surprised they haven't called it an Iron Woman match.
So actually, Triple H talked about that in a recent interview. He said that if a woman wins an Iron Man like triathlon or whatever it's called, it's still called. You still said that she won an Iron Man, not an Iron Woman, and that was his reason for it. And he asked Lita about it, and Lita said that it would be demeaning to call it something else, like to give it a different name for women. And so, because of those two arguments, they decided to go with Iron Man.
Did anyone ask him about the schoolgirl roll-up after that?
I don't know.
Or Lumberjill match. That one gets me every fucking time.
I'm a lumberjill and I'm okay. I get pushed once, then I go away.
Okay, I don't
wow.
think we can top that.
So,
Yep, end of discussion.
moving on, Mr. Point, what's next on the NXT agenda?
That was everything.
Was it? Because I don't think you mentioned the wonderfully worded talking point that I put in there.
I briefly covered it.
Well, here we go. I'm going to read it out word for word now because I think it's too good to miss. Apollo Crews is an athletic, muscular black man. Tyler Breeze lacks at least one of those attributes.
Okay.
So I was just having a little compare and contrast between Apollo Crews and Tyler Breeze. And it does seem a little bit unfair to me that Mr. Breeze is going to be repeatedly jobbed out to all these guys that come in way after him. And it seems like he's getting what was previously the Bailey treatment, constantly bumped to the back of the line when someone new came in.
I mean,
So-
I guess it is possible that Breeze could win this one.
He could. Is he going to get his Bailey moment, though, where the guy that's constantly shunted to the back actually rises to the top finally?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think a single win in a non-title match would be a Bailey moment for him.
Is he going to get one, though, in the future, not necessarily this match?
I think so.
You think he's going to win the NXT Championship before he's either called up or released?
I can't imagine him getting released before getting called up.
You never know, though.
Enough interactions they've done even with just his entrance. It's a lot of money to pour behind someone before they get dumped.
I think he should win the title, but here's another thing, though. Would he be a heel or a face to win the title? Because the crowd would be firmly behind him, wouldn't they?
So why not just let it be organic, like they often do in NXT, where they just let the crowd cheer for whoever they want, because that's what's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, I suppose he doesn't need to change his behaviour at all. Even when he's cheating, it's not like brutal, like powerbombing someone off the stage kind of heelishness. So I suppose the crowd being behind him, it's not like the crowd turning heel by supporting Tyler Breeze.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that pretty much runs down all our talking points for this week. We didn't have a huge amount because, quite frankly, nothing happened.
And besides, the TakeOver pre-show starts in 7 minutes, so let's get this wrapped up.
In 7 minutes, it sure does. So, Mr. Poit, would you like to kind of slouch down into your seat a little bit more? Maybe get
Let me get
a little
my
drink
armrest
with an
now.
umbrella in there.
Okay.
And, yes, give us our social media injection for this week.
So, as always, I would like to do a quick shout-out to our friends over at the Game Buoy video game podcast, your spot for left-of-center gaming news and views. We also invite you to give us your thoughts. Suggest talking points of your own and tell us what you thought of the week in wrestling by tweeting at us, at Tables Ladders, or by replying to our posts on Facebook. We also ask that you follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook and share our posts, rate us and subscribe on iTunes, and shop on Amazon.com using our affiliate link. All of these links can be found on our Podbean page, tablesladderspodcast.podbean.com.
And don't forget to like this video.
Absolutely.
Unless you're listening to the audio version, in which case you should track down the video and like that.
Yep.
So I think only one thing remains to be said this week, folks. TLP, everybody.
TLP, everybody.
TLP, everyone.
TLP, everybody but Wehrman.